are you? Who are you? Who are you? Who are you? Only some people are interested in their genealogy these days. How far back can you trace your family lineage, your genealogy? This question was asked at a Promise Keepers men's conference that I was at many years ago, and they challenged us to find out, to remember. Being a men's ministry, they focused on the lineage of our father's side. Allow me to share what I discovered. I am Kevin Bruce Wigglesworth, son of Edward John Wigglesworth, son of Arthur Bruce Wigglesworth, son of Arthur Wigglesworth, son of Edwin Wigglesworth, son of John Wigglesworth, a laborer from Leeds, England, who died in 1881. So what, you may ask? We're not Jewish. We don't keep track of our lineage. I'd like to ask, why not? Why do we in this generation, this day and age, basically ignore our roots, our origins, dare I say, our memory? Could it possibly be that in this disposable culture of ours, that we have lost what actually defines us and replaced it with the new and trendy things or friends? Have I chosen to define who I am based on my interests, my activities that I enjoy, the job that I have, the music I listen to, the movies I watch, the famous people I like, and so on? Is this how I should define myself? As Orthodox Christians, we put a lot of emphasis on what the church passes down to us. We take our teaching from the early church fathers, and in fact, this Sunday is also called the Sunday of the Holy Fathers because of that. We have a lot of church fathers that the church passes on to us her genealogy, in sorts, the Synaxarian, those of our church family that challenge us to remember. We trust in words and actions passed down to us through holy tradition. So what does the church pass down to us today? In the gospel, and I noticed even in the epistle a little bit. In the Orthodox Study Bible, it notes that Jesus became man as a Jew from the lineage of Abraham, the father of all Jews, and of David, Israel's greatest king and the prototype of the royal Messiah. This genealogy reveals that the Son of God also identifies with the human condition so much that he takes it all on himself and becomes part of it. Christ's ancestry includes both righteous and wicked people, faithful kings and murderers, Jews and Gentiles, kings and peasants. While Luke's genealogy runs from Jesus back to Adam, Matthew's list descends from Abraham, with whom God established the old covenant of circumcision, to Jesus, the author of the new covenant. God promises to bless all the tribes of the earth in Abraham, and this promise is fulfilled in Abraham's greatest son, Jesus Christ. Let me offer another suggestion why I believe all this history, this lineage, is important. It doesn't just define who we are. It reminds us of whose we are. If we believe that God fearfully and wonderfully created us, knit us together in our mother's wombs, knew us before the beginning of time, why do we choose to forget? Why do we work so hard at avoiding this memory? Why do we allow the world around us to distract us so much? As we approach the Nativity of Christ, the Church is calling us to remember our story, our origins, to remember in whose image we were created, to remember in whose likeness we are intended to grow, to remember whose we are. In the Psalms, Psalm 77 in the Septuagint, or 78 by the Hebrew numbering, Israel is called to remember their origins, and it's also a good lesson for us today. It goes like this. Give ear, O my people, to my teaching. Incline your ears to the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in parable. I will utter dark sayings from of old, things that we have heard and known, that our ancestors have told us. We will not hide them from our children. We will tell to the coming generation the glorious deeds of the Lord and his might and the wonders that he has done. He established a decree in Jacob and appointed a law in Israel, which he commanded our ancestors to teach to their children, that the next generation might know them, the children yet unborn, and rise up to tell them to their children, so that they should set their hope in God and not forget the works of God, but keep his commandments, and that they should not be like their ancestors, a stubborn and rebellious generation, a generation whose heart was not steadfast, whose spirit was not faithful to God. As I look back to my ancestors, I recognize in them that God was faithful in every generation. It is my personal remembrance that God has not abandoned my family. It is my challenge to remember who I am. As you spend time with, or at least call and chat with, your family over this Christmas holiday, may it spur your memory of loved ones who have gone on before you and have had their part in shaping who you are. And may this also be an exhortation for you to pass on to your children who they are, and how they should learn to define themselves, that they will also learn to remember their origin. And may this season spur all of our memories to the Son, who in the fullness of time came to dwell among us in order to help all of us to remember whose we are. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.